first one didn't work. Tom the Boo asked, is it possible to export maps and maintain the functionality of shortcut links using SWEL? And yes, this is an interesting one, and it all comes down to the way that Fantasy Grounds seems to hard code, I should say, when it's creating links. So what happens is you create a map, and then you create your story entries. And if you go and open up a map, we'll pick up the Runeforge map. And if you go to your story entries, I don't actually have any, and you drag them out and you put the links on each one of these, and then you export the module. It will export the module with all the pins in and the links on it, and then you take that module out of this campaign and load it into another campaign, and when you click on the shortcut links, you'll just get a new image or an error message. This is because it's actually linked to the entries in the campaign.dbl, not the entries inside the module. So the only way to actually do it that I found is what I like to call the double module export, which is a bit of a faff, and then once you get it working, it's great. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my SWEL code, I'm going to import it into Fantasy Grounds. There it is. Don't worry about the errors. I've got entries I haven't created yet. So, and there's my map locations. So then what I need to do is I need to export the module to actually create the module. This will take a little bit of time. If we pop over here, we should see it appear. Wonders of live TV. We'll edit this later. Come on. You know, you exported quicker just now when I was testing. Anyway, there we go. So there's our .mod file. Now, the fun and games is when Fantasy Grounds comes back to life. There we go. So then what you do is you delete this module that you've just created. Then, unfortunately, what you actually have to do is you actually have to close down Fantasy Grounds. And the reason you have to do this is it appears that the modules loaded into Fantasy Grounds, the list of modules available, are only done at startup. So you have to come out of Fantasy Grounds and go straight back in. It will pick up you've created a new module. And here we go. And then we should be able to go to the library, down to modules. Here we are. There's the module we just created. We can load that in. And so there we have. So if we go to Sins of the Saviours, it's Runeforge, isn't it? Runeforge locations. We go to the map. You can see there's no pins. Now this is the bit. Yeah, if you get it wrong, and I've done it more than once, it's a pain because you have to do it all again. So what you have to do is do not use this map. What you have to do once you've loaded the module is go back to your sidebar, load the map that's in the campaign, not the module. So that's going to be, in this case, the map Runeforge map. Okay. Then what you now do is you go to your module to drag the shortcuts in. You've got to get it the right way around. If you do it the wrong way around, it doesn't work, and you spend all this time having to do it all again. Believe me, I've made that mistake more than once. Then you just drag your pins from the module to the map. Like so. So there we go. And if you've got any other maps, you do them all. Then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come in here. You're going to have to unload the module. What I tend to do as well is just delete the module. It's safer. Sometimes. And then you're going to re-import the module again, believe it or not. So then you're going to just import a lib again. There we go. So what will happen now is, you see, is when we click on any of these links, you will get a message because the module isn't loaded, which is what you want. And likewise, if you come into the SWEL version of the module, you come down to the map and you click on one of them, you should get the same message that the module isn't there, which is to be expected. So now what you have to do is you have to export the module again. So this time, when it goes and gets all the image information, all the XML, the images have already got the links pointing to your module links. So when you recreate this module this second time round, the links will be saved in. Now the only issue and fun and games you will have is if you update the SWEL, that will change the order, and it does have to be a change the order rather than actual reference stuff. And I have seen it happen sometimes. If something happens to change the reference names of the links, then it can go all over the place, but that's very unusual. Usually SWEL uses the nice naming convention anyway, so it's not so bad. But if the links are back to the old IDs and then you add a new entry in, you'll have some problems. So if we now delete the module, the SWEL module again, and now go and load in the other module. Now, because I've already loaded it in once, even though I've deleted it and reloaded it, it thinks it's there. And hopefully now, when we come back to here and we go to Sins of the Saviours, we go to the Runeforge locations and we open up the map and we click on one of these links, you have your reference from the module. Likewise, just to prove it's, we'll open the map up again and do the same thing. And as you can see, so that is the only way I found thus far to create links to a module you want to export and share around, i.e. for commercial products and everything else. Hope you found that useful. Thanks very much.